I'd like to briefly share some thoughts I've been having concerning lawlessness. More specifically, how the condition of lawlessness that's so prevalent, not just in this country, but around the world, is manifesting itself in the immigration crisis we see, in the exportation of manufacturing jobs from my country into second and third world countries, into the increase of slave labor and the decrease of the working class, decent working class jobs. Lawlessness. The Bible has a lot to say about lawlessness. The Antichrist is referred to time and again as the lawless one. He is the summation, the ultimate of lawlessness. He is lawlessness personified. You read in the book of 2 Thessalonians, and this is chapter 2, verse 7, that there is a mystery of lawlessness at work. I'll just go ahead and read it to you. The mystery of lawlessness, which is rebellion against divine authority, and the coming reign of lawlessness, is already at work. But it is restrained until he who now restrains it is taken out of the way. Many of us who are into the rapture and who have studied the rapture are very familiar with this verse. But I want to focus on the mystery of lawlessness at work. There's a mystery of lawlessness at work in the land. The Bible calls it a mystery. And it is mysterious. It's not mysterious in that it can never be known or understood. Contrarily, it behooves us to understand it and comprehend it. It is a mystery because it is not perceptible to the physical senses. The condition of lawlessness is imperceptible to the natural man. He's not going to get it. Let me emphasize this for you. Lawlessness is a condition. If you look the word up, I had to go to Strong's using the King James Version, which uses the word iniquity, but it is the same word. Lawlessness and iniquity are synonymous. And if you look it up in Strong's Greek lexicon, lawlessness or iniquity they define it as a condition. It's a state of being. It's not just behavior. Iniquity and lawlessness is a condition. It is a state of being. And there's a mystery behind it. And it is something that, to quote Paul in 2 Thessalonians, is at work. It seems to have a life of its own. It seems to have an influence, this condition, over a segment of the population. And I will be brief, but I just want to make the point that there's something far more insidious at play when you hear about, especially during this campaign season, when you hear about jobs being shipped overseas, when you hear about the masses of refugees being imported into the United States and Europe, when you see our president going to Cuba and scratching your head, what is going on? There's more at play with this. There's more at play than just a trade policy. There's more at play here than simply geopolitical strategy. And I dare say there's more going on here than simple greed and covetousness, although that's a huge part of it. Let me read the scripture to you. We find this in 1 Timothy chapter 1. This is a manifestation of lawlessness. We know without any doubt that the law is good if one uses it lawfully and appropriately, understanding the fact that law is not enacted for righteous people, but for, and it goes on, it lists all the people the law is for, and then it states this: the law is for slave traders or men stealers. Slave traders, man stealers. These are men and women who essentially import and export manual labor, utilizing and exploiting manual labor with unjust wages, if the labor gets any wages at all. In China, you're doing good to get a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits and a tin roof over your head. These policies we see, if you want to call them policies, this mystery of iniquity that is at work that we see, this lawlessness at work, is manifesting itself in Carrier sending its operations to Mexico, in Oscar Mayer sending its operation to Mexico, in the influx of Mexican and Latin America and now Middle Eastern cheap labor flowing across our border by the tens of thousands every day. It is the manipulation of cheap labor. This is one of the myriad of manifestations of the mystery of lawlessness that is at work in the land. It's a spiritual condition. The political leaders, the corporate leaders, those in charge, whoever it may be, are under the grip and the control of the mystery of iniquity. They are being moved. They are being compelled by a condition that exists in their heart, the condition of lawlessness and iniquity. I hope I'm making sense. Thank you for listening.